Most people think forward. They chase goals, map out plans, and sprint toward success. But what if I told you that this mindset, so common, so praised, is exactly what's holding you back? The top 1% don't think like the crowd. They think backwards. They reverse the problem, ask better questions, and remove the noise before they ever take action. This isn't just smart, it's strategic, and it's rooted in one of the most powerful mental models in Stoic philosophy: inversion thinking. In today's video, we'll break down how to get ahead of 99% of people by thinking in reverse. You'll learn how to use Stoic inversion to avoid failure, protect your energy, and simplify every major decision, whether in business, health, or relationships. We'll uncover timeless lessons from Marcus Aurelius, dissect strategic thinking patterns used by elite minds, and apply them to the real-world chaos you're facing now. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or unsure what's holding you back, this episode is for you. Because often, the answer isn't about doing more. It's about removing what breaks you. So if you're serious about building quiet confidence, mental discipline, and emotional self-control, you're in the right place. Hit the like button if you value thinking differently. Subscribe now for more Stoic strategies to build a mindset that wins in silence and lasts for life. Let's flip the script and start thinking backwards. 1. The illusion of forward thinking. Most men are told to move forward, set a goal, make a plan, execute, hustle, repeat. It sounds noble, like the blueprint of success, but the reality, it's a silent trap. The more you push forward without questioning the path, the more likely you fall into the illusion of control. You start believing that just because you're moving, you're making progress. But movement without clarity is just expensive noise. It drains your energy, clouds your focus, and delays the truth you're trying to avoid. In Stoic thinking, this illusion is dangerous. Marcus Aurelius never wrote about how to chase victory. He wrote about how to stay calm in defeat, how to maintain dignity when life turns against you. For the Stoics, success wasn't something you forced. It was something you faced with discipline and detachment. They didn't waste time wishing things were different. They trained their minds to handle things as they are. Thinking forward may feel natural, but for those who want power, peace, and presence, it's not enough. You need to reverse the logic. Instead of asking, "How can I succeed?" ask, "What could destroy me if things go wrong?" It's not negative thinking, it's strategic self-defense. In a battlefield, you don't only study how to win, you study where others fell and you build around that. You don't reinforce your strengths, you eliminate your weaknesses. Start with this. What patterns in your life keep repeating? What habits feel good in the moment but always cost you later? Where do you lose your mental edge most often? Around people, screens, or expectations? Inversion reveals these cracks not by adding more information, but by asking better questions. And the most powerful one might be this: what am I doing that quietly ruins me? As Epictetus said, the wise man doesn't beg for things to go his way. He prepares to meet reality on its terms. That's the first principle of inversion thinking. Cut the illusion, control the controllable, and stop trying to force outcomes. Begin by observing where you tend to break. Then protect those places like your life depends on it, because it does. 2. Abraham Wald and the silent kill zones. In war, data can be deceptive. During World War II, the Allied forces were losing too many planes. So analysts studied the aircraft that returned from battle. They tracked every bullet hole, every shrapnel wound, and mapped where the damage occurred. The wings were torn, the fuselage was riddled, the tail was shredded. So the military made a logical decision: reinforce the areas that were most damaged. But Abraham Wald, a quiet statistician in the background, thought differently. He noticed something that everyone else ignored: not the damage, but the absence of it. The engines and cockpit had little to no marks. Not because they were safe, but because the planes that were hit in those areas never made it home. They were the missing stories, the unseen truths. Wald flipped the logic. Don't reinforce what survived, protect what disappears when hit once. That insight saved lives. It also rewrote how we think about risk. In life, most men focus on the obvious damage, the missed deadlines, the arguments, the burnout. But the Stoics taught us to watch what hides beneath. Seneca warned against illusions of safety. He advised us to rehearse worst-case scenarios, not to dwell on fear, but to build clarity through exposure. The man who isn't prepared to suffer will be crushed when it comes. That's why Stoic strength isn't about powering through the storm. It's about identifying where you're likely to break long before the winds arrive. Inversion forces you to look not at what's visible, but what's dangerously absent. That conversation you keep delaying, that health issue you keep excusing, that silence in your relationship that grows heavier with time. You don't lose ground where you're paying attention. You lose it where you've gone blind. And that's where inversion begins, not in adding strength, but in scanning for silent weakness. So instead of asking, "What am I doing right?" try asking, "What am I conveniently ignoring?" Because often the most fatal blows don't come from the enemy you see, they come from the one you refuse to face. Spot the silence. Reinforce the cockpit. Control what's invisible before it controls you. 3. Invert always. Invert. Clarity in reverse. When you're stuck, most men push harder. They double down, force momentum, and chase clarity by speeding up. But speed is a poor substitute for precision. Carl Jacobi, one of the great mathematical minds of his time, had a rule. Invert, always invert. If the solution isn't visible from where you stand, flip it, reverse the question, reroute the maze. Often the way forward begins at the end. Think of a maze. From the entrance, it's all false paths, dead ends, wasted effort. But walk it backwards, from the exit, and the chaos shrinks. The route becomes obvious. You avoid wandering. You cut the noise. That's how inversion works. Not by adding more data, but by reframing the approach. Stoics applied this to daily life with relentless clarity. They didn't ask, "What can I gain?" They asked, "What can go wrong, and how will I stand when it does?" Seneca trained his mind with premeditation malorum, the premeditation of evils. He rehearsed pain, loss, failure, not because he wanted it, but because he refused to be broken by it. He believed that suffering becomes sharper when it arrives uninvited. But when you've prepared for it, mentally armored yourself, it lands differently. It doesn't destroy your center, it sharpens it. This kind of thinking isn't pessimism. It's a strategy. It's the mindset of men who choose control over illusion. Instead of fantasizing about winning, ask, "If this fails completely, what caused it?" When you walk a new path, ask, "If I'm already lost, what signs did I miss?" This is not anxiety. It's emotional discipline. You're not dwelling on the worst. You're preparing to outlast it. Success isn't earned by pushing forward blindly. It's protected by removing what breaks your footing. Inversion is how you spot hidden cracks before you fall. So before your next move, don't chase an outcome. Stress test it. Flip the frame. Cut the optimism. Ask better questions. Control begins when you reverse the lens, and strength begins when you stop pretending things won't go wrong. 4. Success isn't found, it's avoided. Most men are trained to chase success. They ask, "How can I win?" and then drown in books, advice, and endless strategies. The question sounds noble, but it's dangerously vague. It leads to overthinking, chasing trends, and trying to be someone you're not. But what if you flip the question? What if, instead of trying to become brilliant, you focused on not being foolish? That's how Charlie Munger, one of the sharpest investors alive, approaches life. He doesn't obsess over genius. He eliminates stupidity. His mantra is simple: show me where I'll die, and I won't go there. This inversion is not just clever, it's survival. In business, it means avoiding deals that smell off. In relationships, it means steering clear of people who disrespect your boundaries. In daily life, it means identifying the habits that slowly rot your clarity. And the beauty is, you don't need to be great. You just need to avoid what breaks you. That alone puts you ahead of most. The Stoics understood this. They never wrote about climbing social ladders or building empires. Epictetus didn't teach men to win the world. He taught them to guard their minds. He said, "Nothing bad happens to a man who preserves his character." In other words, your real loss doesn't come from defeat. It comes from corruption within. So instead of asking how to dominate, ask, "Will this decision cost me my clarity, my values, my peace?" This mindset is cold, sharp, and brutally honest. It doesn't flatter your ego, it cuts through it. Before you act, picture a wise man watching you. Would he nod in respect or flinch in silence? That pause is power. That space between impulse and choice is where men protect their lives from avoidable collapse. Success isn't found in chasing more, it's earned by not self-destructing. You don't rise by sprinting blindly. You rise by avoiding the cliffs others pretend aren't there. Inversion gives you that edge, the ability to scan your life like a battlefield, mark the danger zones, and simply not step there. And that, for a disciplined mind, is enough. 5. Reverse to repair, applying inversion to your personal life. Modern life trains us to chase upgrades. Better love, better health, better mood. We're told to optimize, to stack habits, to seek the magic routine. And yet, with all the adding, most men feel more scattered than ever. That's because the problem often isn't what's missing, it's what's weighing us down. Stoics knew this centuries ago. They didn't build power by adding, they built it by removing. Marcus Aurelius said it clearly, if it is not essential, eliminate it. And in a world addicted to more, elimination is power. Inversion gives you that power. Instead of asking how to be loved, ask what destroys connection. It's not flowers or words that save a relationship. It's cutting the things that rot trust. Lies, indifference, control. Instead of asking how to be healthy, ask what drains your body. It's not the missing supplement, it's the sugar at midnight, the second drink, the phone at 2 a.m. Mental peace? Same rule. Don't force joy. Just stop feeding the noise. Doom scrolling, fake urgency, people who drain your clarity. This is how warriors think. You don't enter a battlefield and pile on armor endlessly. You move lighter. You cut what slows you down. You stay alert, not by stacking tools but by discarding distractions. In personal life, the same strategy applies. Reverse the urge to add. Track what weakens you and strip it away. Each week, ask, what small action damaged my energy, trust, or mental clarity? Then go further. If I stop this one thing, how would life feel over time? You don't need to solve everything. Just remove what clearly breaks you. That alone will put you back in control. Real mastery isn't built in chaos, it's restored in simplicity. Inversion, when practiced right, is not about overhauling your life, it's about clearing the fog. And sometimes, the strongest move isn't a new step forward, but one clean step back from what no longer deserves space in your life. 6. Inversion as a Stoic system, not a tactic, but a way of living. Most people treat clarity like a lucky moment, something that comes with age, success, or a random breakthrough. But the Stoics treated clarity like a system. They didn't wait for it, they created it. Inversion, in this sense, isn't a trick or a mindset hack. It's a full reset in how you approach reality. It doesn't ask you to chase more, but to scan deeper. Not what do I want, but what am I doing that quietly ruins me? That shift seems small, but it changes everything. Because clarity doesn't come from chasing desire, it comes from cutting distractions. It comes from removing emotional noise before it grows into a storm. Seneca warned us long ago, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. He didn't just mean fear, he meant the way we mentally react without training. Stoic strength was forged in silence. It was sharpened by inversion, flipping the question until the path cut through the fog. Use it like a weapon. Before you make a big decision, reverse the angle. If this fails completely, what broke it? Before you send that message or say that hard thing, ask, will this burn a bridge that didn't need burning? And before you start a project or relationship, ask, what risk haven't I seen yet because I want this too badly? These aren't signs of hesitation, they're tools of preparation. They remove ego and sharpen control. Every man talks about wanting power. Few are trained for it. True control begins not with action, but with better framing. Inversion gives you that. It removes the parts of you that lead to self-destruction. And once those are stripped away, what's left is simple, strategic, unshakable. If you want to go far, don't just push forward. Flip the map. Track where you'd fall. Reinforce what keeps you steady. Walk with awareness, not hope. Because the man who learns to reverse the question learns to outlast the chaos. And that, in the long run, is what makes him impossible to break. Clarity is not something you stumble upon. It's something you sharpen, daily, deliberately, like a blade. And today, you've walked through a timeless path once followed by men who knew that forward motion means nothing if it's blind. From Abraham Wald's strategic silence to Seneca's quiet confrontation with pain, we've learned one thing. The wisest don't rush ahead. They reverse the pattern. They eliminate noise. They prepare their minds before preparing their moves. Inversion thinking is not about negativity. It's about discipline. It asks you to stop chasing success and start cutting what quietly sabotages you. To stop adding complexity and start removing what makes you weak. Whether it's relationships, business, health, or how you carry yourself in the face of pressure. This principle remains the same. Master your energy by mastering what drains it. Protect your decisions by asking the hard questions before life forces you to. Control outcomes by surrendering the illusion of control itself. The Stoics didn't live easy lives. They lived trained ones. And this kind of mental clarity doesn't arrive all at once. It comes from practicing every single day. So start now. Ask yourself, even just once each morning, what is one thing I must stop doing today to remain steady? That question alone can change your direction. Over time, it changes your character. So I invite you, don't just think backwards, live backwards. Build from removal, gain through subtraction. And if something in today's video struck a chord, share it. Drop your thoughts, your stories, your questions in the comments. Let's make this a space where strategy meets self-mastery. Because in the end, it's not about reaching more. It's about becoming less breakable. And that, my friend, is the true Stoic way forward. By thinking in reverse, you stay ahead.